Thorat has been Professor Emeritus Center for Study of Regional Development, School of Social Sciences, JNU New Delhi. And also he has been a distinguished professor of economics, Savitribai Phule, Pune University, Pune. And among other things, he has also officiated many chairs and other things. Among his awards include Padma Shri, awarded to him in 2008, Vidyalankara 2008, P.K. Patil Purushottama Award 2007, Bharat Shiromani 2007, Ambedkar Chetana 2001, Dr. Ambedkar National Award 2011, Rajiv Gandhi Outstanding Leadership Award 2014. He needs no formal introduction, as I mentioned. So without standing much between you and the person Greta, I would hand over to Dr. Sukhdev Thorat. Dr. Sukhdev Thorat, please.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Is my voice clear? Thorat, your voice
Yeah.
was clear at all.
Yeah, sir. Your voice is clear.
You are audible enough, sir. You are audible enough, sir.
You are audible, sir.
Okay. Good morning to you and all those who are participating in this distance board conference or lecture from different places and of course in Nanded. I am really thankful to the People's College Nanded for having me invited here for this particular lecture. I am aware about the People College Nanded. It has been an initiative of philanthropy in higher education started by individuals with their own contributions and later on getting assistance from the state. So private and public partnership has been one of the major instruments in promotion of the higher education in Maharashtra. I am going to speak today, as I suggested earlier, about the progress in the higher education in Maharashtra in particular, and I'll also made the references to all India situation. Along with the progress that we have seen in higher education, I will also then discuss the emerging challenges or emerging issues which need to be addressed. By drawing particularly from the example of Maharashtra, which is also an more or less similar situation in India and elsewhere in the country. This discussion will cover 2-3 aspects. One is that I will briefly point out the importance of higher education. Then discuss the relevance, what are the critical issues that involved in education, and then with respect to that, I will give the situation in Maharashtra. The critical issue that I will focus only are 2. One is the equal access to the quality education to all, and whether that equal access to quality education is being observed or not. I will give certain statistics and then present the issue before you. And at the end, I will reflect upon as to how do we deal with these issues. Well, let me begin with the importance and the goal of higher education. Well, I need not repeat. All of you know, you are from the educational background, that the education in general and higher education in particular is important, very important and critical in the life of people. I think there are 3 aspects which I would like to emphasize about the significance of education, higher education particularly, and what does it give to the human being. I think the first thing is, of course, that the higher education gives scientific knowledge to the student at various stages of their education. It doesn't give a knowledge based on speculation or based on hearsay. It gives the scientific knowledge so that student knows, the youth knows the phenomena that is surrounding them, and this knowledge then help them to understand the society, nature in a much better way. They get the knowledge, existing knowledge, so that they also get to know what are the limits of the knowledge and what more research is required to increase the frontier of the knowledge. The knowledge then became useful in another way, that knowledge result into technologies. The basic knowledge result into technologies, the knowledge which is generated through research. Uh, the scientific knowledge result into scientific technologies. The knowledge in the social science also result into these social science technologies, which benefit the society. Both technologies and both knowledge help to the society, as a matter of fact, because there is a sometimes misassumption that social science doesn't create technology, and it is only the science create technology. For example, if you take the present example of COVID, both the technologies based on the knowledge from both the subject are being used. The knowledge generated through health sciences and the medicine and other knowledges is being used to control the disease. But at the same time, the close down of economy, which has resulted into loss of income, unemployment, and then the threat of hunger and starvation, we are using the knowledge generated in the economic and sociology. And there are policy packages and technology, social science technology, which are being used. How to regulate the economy, how to reopen the economy, control unemployment, starvation. So both sciences, both disciplines are equally useful. So knowledge generation is one of the objective of the higher education. Second is, which is very important, that the education, higher education doesn't give knowledge only, scientific knowledge, but also it creates human being. It creates citizens, knowledge gives values and teach principles of, say, equality, liberty, freedom, brotherhood. And it also makes the students sensitive to the problem of society, of inequality, discrimination, poverty, so that you turn out a student from the higher education institution, which is who are more sensitive to the problem of society, and that they know their goal, that what goal we require of liberty, freedom, and other things. And finally, of course, the education result into employability. You get a job because your capabilities are enhanced and your employability is improved, and you get a job, and by getting a job, you get an income and level of living improves. So education is very, very important. Therefore, education is considered to be a sort of a basic need for everybody, irrespective of their income level. In the school sector, we have already have a Right to Education Act, which make the education compulsory and free up to the, I think we are up to the higher secondary. In the higher education, there are different issues involved. Most of us, we agree that the higher education is equally necessary for the for everybody. So there should be it should be provided by the state as possible, as free as possible. But there are other arguments that the higher education tend to be private good also. It is a public good that everybody should have it, like food and clothes and other things. But some of them argue that no, it is also a private good in the sense that if you get education, uh, you get benefits that I have described. You get employment. So if the government or somebody invests in education and you get the benefit, then you should repay it because it's like a good that you purchase. So there is an argument that the investment in higher education is a private investment, and therefore it should be charged. It cannot be considered entirely public. Uh, so there is an argument of semi-public, merit, semi-merit good and all that. But I think, in my view, the education, school education or higher education, it should be necessary. It should be since everybody need it, and the advantage, usefulness of it to the people, it covers everything. You cannot be not say that some will have it and some will not have it. That some who have a capacity to pay for the tuition fees will have it, and those who do not have they are sort of restricted from having access. So that approach is not appropriate. Education, school or higher education, is a public need, and everybody should have it. And therefore, the state has a responsibility to provide education to everybody. Now, after having said this, bringing out the importance of higher education, uh, I will now look at the uh, present situation with respect to access to education and educational attainment in Maharashtra and in India. As I said, if education is so important and is a necessary thing to have it, then everybody should have access to education. Not only that, everybody should have access to education, but everybody should have access to quality education. Whatever quality we provide through our education system, everybody should have access to that education as such. Therefore, what I will do it, I will take few indicators and see the existing situation, and we will then get to know what are the issues. I'll take two indicators. One is, of course, we take the mm, education development, level of education development. We generally take gross enrollment ratio or enrollment ratio in higher education. We assume that after the higher secondary, after the 12th standard, everybody should get an entry into the higher education system. Therefore, we measure the enrollment ratio by taking the youth in the age group of 18 to 23. Because they are supposed to go into the higher education system, undergraduate and postgraduate. So we take the youth in the age group of 18 to 23, and then we see what proportion of them are into higher education system, are attending the higher education system. That gives you the ratio of those into the higher education system to the ratio of the total population of youth in the age group of 18 to 23, what is called enrollment ratio. Sometimes there are different concepts: gross enrollment ratio, net enrollment ratio, eligible enrollment ratio. But generally, we use the enrollment ratio. And then we also study. I also look into whether they have equal access to quality education. I do not want to go into the quality issues. That's another topic to be discussed. But given the limitation of the data, we can see whether there is equal access to quality education or not. Now, I am taking only two indicators to measure the quality and whether everybody has equal access to that quality education or not. One is that we can take the medium of instruction. It is not a very perfect indicator of quality of education, but whether you have education in English medium or you have in Hindi or regional language, that can be one indicators of quality of education. Those who have English medium education through English medium at the school, they go to the higher education, which are better education institution. They go into the professional courses where English is important. So I'm taking language as one of the indicators of quality education because of the limitation of the data. Otherwise, there are other better indicators of quality. And secondly, that we have type of education institution. We have government institutions, government colleges, government universities. We have private aided, like People's College, private aided, which gets aid from the state. And then we have a self-financing colleges and self-financing institutions, which are completely supported by the tuition and other fundings. They do not get anything from the government. They are called self-financing institutions. And therefore, since they depend on the fees, their fee structure is high compared to the private aided as well as compared to the government. And these self-financing institutions mainly are in professional courses, engineering, medical, management. And so I think looking at the participation in the self-financing institution as an indicator of a quality, we can take that indicator and measure whether everybody has equal access to the self-financing institution. So I'm taking two indicators for access to quality education. One is the medium of instruction, English versus regional languages or Hindi, and the proportion of the student going into the self-financing institution, which is basically concentrated on professional education. Now, this is what we are going to do. Now, let me give you certain statistics. The latest uh, National Sample Survey on Higher Education is for 2017 and 18, but their results are not yet out. So I am taking the earlier round, that is 2014-15, whereby we can study one, the progress in the gross enrollment ratio, and whether that progress is equally accessible to the groups or not. In that respect, I will take two groups. One is the income, poor versus non-poor or middle income, and other is by social group. There we can classify the social group into scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC, higher caste, and also the religious group, religious minority. Are there disparity across the social group? Are there disparities in access to education across the income level? That we will see. And the quality education also. So in Maharashtra, if we take 2014, the enrollment ratio is about one third, which is much better, which is slightly higher than the all India average of 27%. So Maharashtra is slightly doing better in access to higher education, 31% as compared to 21% for all India. Now, if we go by the social group disparities, then what you discover is that the enrollment ratio of the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe is lower compared to the state average. Similarly, the situation at all India level. For example, in 2014, the enrollment ratio of scheduled tribe is 12%, scheduled caste is 27%, Muslim is the also lowest, about 15%, compared to say 38% for the high caste and 32% for the OBC. So you can see that there are inter-caste disparities and inter-religious disparities in access to higher education, in attainment in the higher education. The same is the case with all India level. The all India, the enrollment ratio is 15% for tribe, 20% for scheduled caste, as against 37% for the higher caste and 27% for OBC. Muslim is again 15%, lagging behind, in fact, after the scheduled tribe. So you can see that the access to education, as far as the social group is concerned, is not similar. Scheduled caste particularly has been denied right to education in the past, and that legacy of lack of education, of course, is visible here. Now we come to the income, irrespective of the caste. Does the income reduce the access to higher education to the poor? Yes, it does. We clearly see a positive relationship between enrollment ratio and income level. As the income increases, the access to higher education also improves. So at a lower level of income, the access is less. If we take the income quantile, the bottom poor or poorest enrollment ratio in Maharashtra is 14% and 18%. Poor and poorest, the enrollment ratio is 14 and 18% compared to 65% at the top quantile. Look at the disparities. Several times more enrollment ratio among the rich and top quantile, and the enrollment ratio goes up from 14 to 18 to 22, 32, and 65 as we go on the line of increase in the income. Same situation is there at the all India level. The enrollment ratio at the bottom level is 9%, is followed by 16, 24, 37, and 64% from the top income. So to make a point, the important point that we get from this discussion is that although the higher education has improved, uh, in the and access to education has improved at an overall level. Uh, in 60s, our enrollment ratio was hardly 1%. Now, compared to 1%, we have now 30% at the all India level, close to 30%. Maharashtra 30%. So from 1% to 30% is a big jump. But the the disparities are there. The access to the scheduled caste, scheduled tribe is lower compared to the others. Similarly, the access to the poor, to the higher education in terms of GR, enrollment ratio is low. So this is one. This is the first challenge that the education being a common need, everybody should have an access, but by very nature of our education system, we have not developed an education system which could provide equal access to mm, poor as well as the lower caste and tribal group. That's the first challenge that we have, and when we discuss about the emerging issue and how to deal with it. The second thing is that if we take the uh, access to the institution, uh, a different type of institution, what we get is the uh, following picture, that I'm coming to the quality now, that if we want to look at the quality now, one issue is unequal access by social group and by income. Other is now, is there unequal access to the quality education? And I told you I have taken two indicators. One is the percentage of the student going through the Marathi medium or Hindi medium at all India level, and the percentage of students going to the self-financing institution, which are supposed to be better institution, and beside they are more engaged into the professional courses. Now, as far as the access to the self-financing institution is concerned, what we see is the following. Broadly speaking, if you take the income categories, we can see that the section in the society with a higher level of income have a more share in the self-financing institution, followed by the private and aided, but the higher income groups share in the public institution is less. Uh, if I give you some statistic here, those in the high bracket, their share in the self-financing institution is 12%, 22%, and the bottom is 11% and 8%. So that is the disparity, that the as far as the self-financing institution is concerned, and if their education is a better quality than the public institution, not necessarily in all subjects, but in professional subject, then the access is unequal. The relatively better off economic sections are getting more access compared to the lower access. And I am not saying that this is a very this is the truth. Everybody knows it. The tuitions and other things, given the tuition level in the self-financing institution, it is quite obvious that unless the government come with some certain support, it is only the relatively economically better off which will get the access. There is other indicator whereby we can see the access of the student to the self-financing institution, private institution. If you take the total students, say in Maharashtra, uh, in the self-financing institution, total student, and then see the share of the economically better off and share of economically poor, then what you discover is that a very high disparity. Of the total students who are in self-employed colleges and the universities, deemed university, private universities, almost 60% comes from the top income group, 80 to 100 quantile, in the top quantile, 60%. Only 6% from the poorest, only another 6% from the poor, and in between it is 12 to 7%. So you can see the disparity, that there is a huge concentration of the students from a higher income group that are going to the self-financing institution. So by both the indicator, what we discovered is that the education is the education level is there is a huge unequal access to the better education, professional education particularly. Now let me come to the languages and criteria of quality education. If we take Maharashtra, for example, same is the story for all India. In Maharashtra, in 2014, out of the total students, about 64% goes to the English medium in higher education, and 34% to the Marathi medium. So this is so you can see that our education is a lot more Englishized as far as the higher education is concerned. Insofar as 64% goes to the English mediums, and only 34% goes to the Marathi medium. But there is a variation across the social group. There is variation across the income group also, but there is a variation across the income group. Now, as far as the social group is concerned, you know, the 74% of the higher caste goes to the English medium school. The student, of the total student from the higher caste, about 74% goes to the English medium school, as against 43% of tribal and 45% of scheduled caste, and then followed by 60% of OBC. So you can very easily see that the lesser number of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe goes to the English medium higher education institutions as compared to the higher caste, and that will obviously affect the quality of education, access to education to a certain extent. But the reverse is true as far as the medium is, Marathi medium is concerned. About 56% of scheduled tribe and 51% of scheduled caste goes to Marathi medium, as compared to 25% of high caste and 37% of OBC. So there is a clear divide that the high caste and the OBC, a higher proportion of them goes to the English medium higher education institution compared to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. Now, then what are the problems? I have given you only this limited information, but it is very important information. What is the conclusion? What are the issues that we face now? The issues are twofold. One issue is that at an aggregate level, access to higher education is unequal, based on income and based on the caste and the tribal background, social background. The conclusion is that the poorest, irrespective of caste or religion, poorest in the state have a less access to higher education in terms of gross endowment ratio compared to the top, relatively economically rich. That is the inequality that we can see in access to education. Second is that within that, the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe are still falling behind in access to education compared to the higher caste and followed by OBC. And Muslim also lag behind compared to the other religious minority. The Sikh and the Christian do much better than the Muslim. Buddhists are lagging far too behind, even compared to the Sikh and Christian and the even Muslim. So that is the disparity. Intersocial group disparity. We know the group, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, Muslim are lagging in access to higher education. We know the poor, poor from scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, OBC and high caste and Muslim, they have also low access to higher education. Second point that emerged from this discussion is that the access to quality education in terms of medium of instruction and in terms of proportion of them having an education from the self-employed institution is also less for lower income group compared to higher income group, and also access to quality education in terms of these two indicators is less for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe and the Muslim compared to higher caste and the middle caste. These are the problem as far as access to education and inequality in access to education are concerned. What problem does it create? It creates a tremendous problem. You know, I began by saying that higher education, like the school education, is necessary for everybody because it helps in the life in multiple ways. It not only gives you employment, but it makes you an educated person who can handle his life in any sphere of life in a much better way because he is an educated person compared to an illiterate man. And of course, he turned out to be a better person also. So there are several advantages of education. Therefore, education is compulsory. Everybody should have access to it. Now that is not being happening. Now, therefore, the general approach to the higher education in the European countries and other countries is that it is also a public good and everybody should have access. What are we doing in India and in Maharashtra then by this statistic is that education should be provided to everybody, which will help to increase their capabilities, human resource capability, which will result into employability, higher employability and higher employment, better job. It will also make you a better human being. You can deal in your all economic life activity in a much better manner. So that is the purpose of education, to blossom the person by giving the education. And what we are doing here, therefore in Europe, they develop a common system, school as well as higher education, college and university, a public education system and same education is given to all sections, poor or rich or minority, whereby everybody has an equal access to education. We don't give an unequal access to education and quality education. And everybody will develop the capacity according to their innate capability. Then they enter into the market and they get their chances and employment depending on their capability. That's another matter. But at least to begin with, we provide equal opportunity in education to all. What are we doing here in Maharashtra? And for that matter in India? To begin with, we are giving an unequal opportunity. We say that our fee structure is such, our education system is such that a poor will not get admission to the better educated education institutions, self-financing institutions, or even private and aided. Relatively better off will get it. We also say that scheduled caste and scheduled tribe will have less access to higher education and quality education compared to others. So what are we creating? We have an education system which essentially provide unequal opportunity to different sections in the society. As a result, we are developing an unequal capabilities, human capabilities and resource. And that unequal capability result into unequal employment opportunity. And employment means income. Income means your better life. So what are we doing? Our education system, instead of having a level playing field, giving equal capability enhancement opportunity, in the beginning itself, we are giving an unequal opportunity to a poor and the certain social group and creating inequalities. So our education system, unequal insofar as is impart education in an unequal manner, became a source of economic and social inequality. This is the most disturbing part of it. In the other countries, especially in the Europe, they provide equal education to everybody. Then it is the chance of everybody depending on their improvement in capability in the market, whether they get a good job or bad job. But they don't create education system whereby inequalities are created. Now, this is the major challenge that we have. Now, therefore, the question is how to reform our education system, whereby we can provide equal opportunity to the poor and certain social group which are neglected. And secondly, how do we provide the quality education, either in Marathi language or in English language? That these are the two important challenges that we have. I will only reflect on it. I don't have a full solution, but reflect on it so that you people can think over it. That is the purpose, I think, to know the issues. I think the first thing that I would suggest is that the inequality because of the system of education is concerned, it is because we have three types of education system: government, private aided, and self-financing. Self-financing, source of income being tuition. Tuition fee is very high. I have certain figure, I would not quote you, but I did remember in Maharashtra, the annual tuition fee, average annual tuition fee is close to 79,000 in the self-financing institution. It is about 30,000 in private and aided perhaps, and it is only 6,000 to 7,000 in government. So you can see the difference of tuition fee, which tells you that the poor wouldn't be able to afford the self-financing institution. So I think one solution is that we must expand government colleges. There is no point pretending that government doesn't have resources. Europe has done that. European countries have developed a public education system where their per capita income was low. Sweden was as poor as we were in 70s when they strengthened their European system, education system. A higher proportion of GDP has to be spent on strengthening public education system, expanding public education system. That's what Europe did. As their gross income increases in 100 year or 70 year, a higher and higher proportion of GDP they spend on strengthening the education system and health system. They didn't use the excuses that we don't have money, therefore we allow the private sector. Private sector, they have also allowed, but different way they have allowed. So I think the first thing is to expand the government sector, state universities to the extent possible. Secondly, we should promote private aided institutions. This is the best example of public-private partnership. That private parties take the initiative, set up the college. People's College is one of the examples. Raman Tirtha and others took the initiative, put their own money, set up the college. Then after 5 to 6 years, government aided them. So it's a partnership, public-private partnership through which social philanthropy in education as well as government role has been used to expand. Why can't we have a more of private aided colleges? Because if you look at the statistic in Maharashtra, the share of the student in the private aided school has gone down. Share of the student in government colleges has gone down. And relatively, the share of the self-financing has increased now. About close to 17% of our students are in the self-financing institution. So government institutions and private aiders are on decline and self-financing is on rise. At all India level, you must know that about 45% of the universities are in private sector now. This was not the case in the early 70s. So first thing is that we should promote more of private aided and encourage the philanthropy. Third thing, that if self-financing institutions are going to be there, you cannot stop. We have passed the legislation that the state universities will be there, deemed universities, central deemed university, private will be there. They are going to be there. Their fee structure should be made in such a manner that even meritorious poor can also get admission. If the poor from any community get admission in self-financing institution and that their fees is very high, the government should develop a policy whereby a poor meritorious who get admission on his own merit should not be asked to leave it. There is some facility, I am told, for the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. So state has to take an initiative. Even the private self-financing institution also should take initiative. They should charge a very subsidized fee for the poor meritorious who get an admission. In fact, they can have a differential fee structure. They charge relatively more to the economically better off and low to the poor who can afford. Affordability should be the criteria. And then cross-subsidize so that poor who get admission on the basis of their merit are not required to leave this institution. That's the key and bottom line. So I think these are some of the measures which we can take into account. I have seen that in Maharashtra, you might have read my article in Lok Satta on higher education, that the government and private education institutions are giving scholarship to the poor student. But the self-financing institutions are not coming forward. I think only 7% of the students are getting free ship and fellowship in the self-financing institution as against 21% in the public. So the self-financing institution also should support financially. This is one thing. Second thing, third alternative is, additional alternative is that I think the loan and financial support to the poorer student. Now, at present, what is happening? The students are required to go to the commercial bank and take the loan at a normal terms and condition with the bank's rate of interest. The only subsidy is given by the government is that government says that we'll pay the subsidy on the interest. If there is a 10% interest, the government will pay 55%. That's the only way to helping the government, which is very inadequate and not correct way. There are other countries in the world which have followed a different method. For example, Canada and Australia has set up an independent finance institution, corporation with a government funding. And that corporation provide loan to the poorer section or even the middle class who need money on a long-term basis, returnable after they get employed. And it has been quite successful. And when I was the chairman of the UGC, I went to Canada and they gave me the presentation on how the loan system works. That they give the loan to whosoever want, and they take the guarantee that after they get employment, they will return it. So I asked them the question, when there is a high unemployment, and then what is the guarantee that they will also return? They said, no, everybody returns. But if there is a default, that default is to the extent of 5%, we consider them that as a subsidy. So they have developed a educational financing mechanism whereby everybody who need funding get a funding at a zero interest rate, returnable after getting employed. So that a poorer or even a middle class who goes for the education which is expensive is not debarred from denial of entry into education institution because of lack of funds. Now, I think these are the three suggestions that I would like to make, and I have been writing about it. Last is the quality. Only one aspect I will get. Quality issue is a very important, is a big issue. Quality depend on physical infrastructure, quality depend on curriculum, the pedagogy, the way you teach, quality depend on the textbooks available, method of teaching. So I would not go into that. I will only say one indicator that I had taken was language. Other was the admission to self-financing institution. I have given the solution. What are the possible solutions? On language, I will mention some solution and then I'll stop. In language, I think there is a now growing tendency. You are from People College and you know it better than I do, that even in all colleges now, private, aided and the government, and also the state university, the medium of instruction is switching very fast toward Marathi. And as a result, the teacher teach in Marathi, a student learn in Marathi. Now it affects quality in one way. That is, that the knowledge which is available in English is not available to the student. If the teacher doesn't read English books and doesn't pass on to the student get the knowledge which is written in Marathi through textbook. And you know the quality of the textbook. I know that I taught for some time in Vasantara Naik College and also Vivekananda College in Aurangabad. I know that I saw the textbook, even at a MA level, whatever textbooks are there for the undergraduate student for microeconomics and macroeconomics and others, slightly, little bit improved, and the same textbook are there for the postgraduate level. So the student do not get much additional thing at a postgraduate level, what they got at undergraduate level. And the teacher do not also, because teacher also came to Marathi medium, teacher do not read English books as much as they should do, and they do not pass on to the student the knowledge available in the English. So the quality on the whole goes down because of the medium of instruction. Now, I am not saying that you should go for English medium. I think teaching in Marathi medium is good because students understand it. That is the policy everywhere. In Europe, they teach in their own language. In Japan, they teach in their own language. But they also supplement it. They also bring the knowledge in English to the students. And how do they do that? I have been suggesting it for quite some time, but there has to be interest at the government. There is no interest whatsoever. What can we do? Say in Maharashtra, for the colleges and for the state university, that first thing that the good standard textbook should be produced. It is possible. You can produce, you can ask the best of the teacher in the country to produce a textbook in various subjects in English. Doesn't matter. Produce the textbook in English and then you translate it into Marathi. That textbook should be such that it covers the knowledge in the subject, existing knowledge from the beginning till the end. So the student get everything that is there in the English and the other language. So good textbook in English, translated into Marathi. So the student is not deprived that some part of the knowledge in his discipline is left out. Second is, the student should have an advantage to read some of the classic books in his own subject or her subject. Then you pick up 4 or 5 books, a prominent original book, again translate in English, Marathi. So the student have the knowledge, original book as well as a good textbook. It doesn't require much. It requires at the state level to set up a committee, allocate certain fund to prepare the textbook in 7-8 social science subject, form the groups of different academicians of their subject and ask them to prepare a textbook. They will prepare within a year's time. And then establish a program of translating the classical books in each of the subjects, politics, economics, sociology, psychology, philosophy, translate the major books so the student have this. So even if you teach in Marathi, student will have access to the knowledge developed in English. And the advantage of Marathi is that the student, poor student, particularly from rural areas everywhere, they understand the things in their own language much better than in English. So if you follow this textbook policy and knowledge creation policy, I have a feeling that the quality of education will improve. But there has to be policy making people who think about it, who take initiative. We make only big announcement, but we do not focus on the proper policies for improvement of quality and improvement of access to higher education. Well, friends, these are some of the points, not many, I wanted to share with you today. Thank you very much. Your sound is not clear. As a Thorat, you are not correcting your sound system.
Am I audible now, sir?
Now you are audible.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your insightful and enlightening speech. I'm sure policymakers will take a cue from your speech and address. You dealt on the social spectrum of India and compared the Indian experience with the European model. Thank you very much, sir. I hand it over now to Dr. Harnavade for a vote of thanks. Dr. Harnavade for a vote of thanks.
Hello.
Hello.
Please
Hello.
speak. You can.
Good morning, all of you. I am going to present a vote of thanks in front of you. Thank you very much, Thoras sir. On behalf of Nanded Education Society, Nanded, and People's College, Nanded, we are indebted to you for your invaluable and enthusiastic guidance regarding higher education system. Sir, given the realistic and analytical approach in higher education system, it is a very nice and valuable guidance given by him. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. I also thanks the President, Secretary, Office Bearers of Nanded Education Society, Nanded, as well as all the office bearers of our college, as well as all the participating professors. Thanks a lot for all of you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
So I leave now.
Yes, sir. You may leave. Yes, you may leave, sir. You may leave, sir.
There is no answer question session.
Oh, there is no Q&A,
No,
sir.
no.
There is no Q&A.
Thank you. Okay, best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
very much. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
I hand it over to Dr. More now for the next session.
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah, you're already. You just proceed, sir. You just proceed.
Okay. The second session of the second day of this e-conference, former principal of Nanded Education Society's People's College, Nanded, a member of Senate, a former member of Senate, Academic Council, Management Council, and a renowned academician, Dr. V.N. Ingole, sir. He is virtually connected with us from Delhi. I welcome him on behalf of Nanded Education Society, People's College staff and non-teaching staff, and handed over this to Professor E.V. Datar, sir, to initiate the second session. Dr. Datar, sir.
Thank you, Dr. More. It gives me great pleasure to welcome once again to our college the former principal of our college, Dr. V.N. Ingole. As Professor More mentioned in his introduction, Dr. Ingole is a distinguished academician, a distinguished academic administrator, and a well-known teacher of political science throughout Maharashtra. He will be speaking with us on the topic of Mission 21st Century Knowledge Society, strategies for transforming higher educational institutes in India in the post-COVID-19 scenario. With this brief introduction, I would now request Dr. V.N. Ingole to address us and guide us as to what will be the changes in this educational scenario given the present circumstances. I would now request Dr. Ingole, sir, to address the participants.
Hello, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir, yeah. You are audible.
So, welcome to all, and also good morning. Honorable Chairman of the Nanded Education Society, Dr. Kabdi sir, Secretary Shamal Patki ma'am, Vice President Chaitanya Bapu Deshmukh, Joint Secretary Praveen Patil, coordinator of this e-conference, my friend Dr. More, Principal of the college, Dr. Zado, Vice Principal of the college, Dr. Siddewad and Dr. Kompalwar. I am very glad to reassociate with the college after a small gap on the occasion of this conference. It is very welcoming step that our college is organizing this e-conference on education on the occasion of commemoration of the Foundation Day, 70th Foundation Day of our college, and we are going to shortly going to celebrate Diamond Jubilee program of our college, and therefore this is high time to plan for further 10 years plan for long term and 5 years plan for short term, and jump upon, because world is changing fast and everybody is changing with the change. If everybody is changing with the change, there is no alternative before us but to change, because change is in fact compulsory and survival is option. The price of doing the same old thing is more than the price of change, and therefore I think everybody is now ready to change, and those who won't change or who are reluctant to change, their situation will be very pitiable, like driving on the freeway. If you are driving on the freeway, you have to keep minimum speed. If you don't maintain the speed, then others will dash you or overtake you. And we don't want to dash by others or overtaken by others. And therefore, this is high time to change. Of course, change is not alone. Every change is fruitful if it is in consortium. And therefore, we have to change, and also we have to change our society, our economy, our nation, and therefore the total complete transformation along with our institution and we people. Considering this, I have selected this topic, 21st Century Knowledge Society, Mission 21st Century Knowledge Society, transformation of higher education institutions to suit the goal. This is my topic. First of all, I will speak of, if we want to change, there is no option. If we want to change, what are our goals? What are our goals? Where do we want to go? And if our goals are 21st Century Knowledge Society, then how can we go? How can we reach? And of course, the education is the instrument carrier of this change. We have to change our educational system thoroughly. After changing the education system thoroughly, then we have to look into the matter of changing our institution, higher education institution, because those are actual changing agencies, and therefore higher education institutions must be changed, transformed. This change, as I told you, must be fast and safe, and therefore we have to apply certain strategies. We should not be random in our steps, and therefore I will discuss what type of change we want, how we will reach there, what will be the educational strategies and institutional strategies for changing our society. One more thing is there. What type of change? I mean, Some believe in social change. Some believe in economic change. And this dichotomy is long in India, social versus other, national and economic. Now there is a controversy that our government says we have to build third largest economy. We have to build third largest economy and $5 trillion economy by 2032. If this is our goal, declared goal, can it be proper to go alone with the economic changes, leaving back the social changes? And therefore, complete change requires going beyond economic changes, that is social change also, and therefore complete education, quality education is important. Change through education provides us, only change through education provides us prosperity, welfare, social welfare, and security. These are our imperatives. So we have designed our goals beyond the economic society, and therefore it is our duty to discuss thoroughly and find out the strategies, devices, how to reach the destination. So I will discuss these strategies, and thereafter I will come to the conclusion whether is there any possibility to reach the destination by the after the application of these strategies. Yes, allow me to share the screen, please. I want to show PPT. Please allow me. Please allow me to share PPT. Okay. So friends, I'm going to discuss with the help of PowerPoint presentation so that some points will be with us for discussion. So as I have said, that India aspires to be the world's third largest economy through knowledge capital. The ultimate goal is knowledge society and not knowledge economy. There is a common parallels that we want to be a knowledge society because we want to be a strong economy, but this is half truth. Because in this situation, in strong economic object, economy is object, whereas knowledge is subject, and therefore we put the knowledge on the back seat and economy on the front seat. In knowledge economy, in short, knowledge is supposed to be as tradable intellectual capital. Knowledge is important factor of production than other factors. In industrial society, you know, land, entrepreneurship, capital, these were the important, but now the parameters have been changed. Price of commodity is fixed based upon the amount of the knowledge put in the creation of the commodity. Technology, internet, ICT, and vocational and technical skills are important in economic society. In short, this is an utilitarian model. So as I discussed earlier, that economic society is definitely our goal, but we can't proceed with economic goals only. We want social goal also, because social goal and economic goal, if go together, then there will be only sustainable development. Otherwise, it will not be sustainable development. So we have to think of knowledge society. Why? Because we want to reach in the knowledge society. And the question is why? Why knowledge society? Why knowledge society? Knowledge society because it is the worldwide accepted goal of transformation. It is post-industrial social transformation, I tell you. And it is social because it includes social relations also, social values also, and therefore social relations, along with social relations, this transformation is there. In this knowledge society, not in economic society, but knowledge society, knowledge is basis of all social activities and social relations. I say social activities and social relation because relations of social relations in Marxian concept were determined by the forces of production. Now the social relations will be governed by the knowledge that is more mature, based on more wisdom. Knowledge society generates shares, makes knowledge available to all members of the society to improve human condition. Again, the purpose of the knowledge society or purpose of the knowledge is to improve the conditions of the people. Knowledge society, in knowledge society, availability to process data, ability to process data, convert it into transformation, convert into transformation and transform into resources that facilitate the society to take effective action. So social action, after all, must be based on, directed with the knowledge, which is rather a broader concept. The knowledge in the knowledge society is product that is systematically leading to valid references in the creation of knowledge. So in the knowledge society, knowledge is not stagnant. It is always to be extended, developed, created. And therefore, the creation of knowledge is again based on the knowledge. So knowledge is required to create, extend knowledge. Knowledge society is the society which is based on the knowledge that includes the technical knowledge as well as deeper and eternal knowledge, which indicates the wisdom with capacity of judging rightly in the matters relating to the life and conduct. So here we must see that knowledge is of two types: technical knowledge and eternal knowledge. In Upanishad, we see that knowledge was again divided in two categories: the material knowledge and spiritual knowledge. And material knowledge was termed as ignorance, and spiritual knowledge was only supposed to be the knowledge. But now, in the modern society, we have to see that technical knowledge is the knowledge which is part of the knowledge, but not whole knowledge. It is helpful for advancement, creation of the knowledge, and therefore, knowledge includes both technical knowledge as well as eternal knowledge. That knowledge helps us to take proper social action, proper decisions. education and learning process in a knowledge society. So we have decided, we have seen how knowledge is important, how knowledge can be the agent of change. And if we want to be the knowledge as the change, first of all, we have to see how knowledge excels change. In knowledge society, those who will learn will excel. Education is the source of knowledge. So we can gather knowledge, create knowledge, utilize knowledge through the education, and education in knowledge society. It has also a broader perspective. Education in knowledge society is understood as learning that is deliberate, internal, purposeful, and organized. So learning is not jumping or a casual activity in knowledge society. It is very serious and purposeful activity. Well strategy is required and well course of action is required. In knowledge society, creation of knowledge is treated as an intensive work involving quality research, innovation, and critical and creative thinking. So in knowledge society, what type of knowledge is required to be created? The knowledge is required to be created which enhances creative thinking, innovations, and critical thinking. Learning comprises of processing and sharing information, understanding skills, values, liberal attitudes of social diversities in local and global contexts. Considering the Indian society, where we are, nature of our society right now is just we have crossed the page of parochial culture, and now we are between the subject and civic culture. It is a sort of mixed culture. On the one end, we are very modernized, we are very secular, very advanced, very rational. And on the another kind, we are communalist, we are casteist, we are parochial, we believe in everything what priests and gurus say, we know everything. And therefore, if we want to transform this society, we have to be very critical. We should be critical in thinking. So critical thinking is very, very important, one thing. Secondly, accepting and respecting diversities. Because India is a country having diversity. And we see several waves are coming where diversity is relegated, neglected, and a sort of Unitarian society is being promoted. Of course, there is a wave worldwide of this type of thinking, and therefore it is very, very essential to advocate, to adopt the diversity and multiculturalism. Therefore, it is imperative on our part to develop robust education system suitable to the goals of knowledge society. So, who can carry this change? Who can carry this change, as I told you? And the answer is only education can carry this change. So we can't transform ourselves with the system that is prevailing in India today. We have to transform it thoroughly. we have to build a robust educational system. Then only we can reach our destination. And for this, the instrument is higher education institutions. So if we want to transform education, we have to transform the higher education institutions that will be suitable to the goals of learning. UNESCO has defined the goals of learning for knowledge society, and those are learning to know, learning to do, learning to be, and learning to live together. These are worldwide accepted goals. This is a frame of reference of the goals, and therefore we have to develop our educational system, build our educational system, and make our educational institutions act around these goals. Higher education systems are required to transform into vibrant institutions, imparting quality education of the world-class standard to harvest the benefits of GATS. As I told you, it is the transformation of both types, economic transformation as well as the social transformation. Economic transformation is important part of the social transformation, and therefore we are the members of the GATS, and a very radical change has been taken place when the GATT agreement was passed. GATT means General Agreement on Trades in Service. Earlier it was GATT, but there was no yes, that is service sector was not included in it. But in GATS, service sector is included in the process of globalization. That is, there will be free sharing of the service sector. There will be free trade, no restrictions on the trade of services in the global society. And therefore, everybody is, after harvesting the benefits of GATS, there are 4 ways of harvesting the benefits of the GATS. One is sending our students abroad for learning and accepting other countries' students in our country. So this is the exchange of students. The another mode is by exporting and importing online courses. The third mode is by opening campus in foreign countries of our institutions, or opening their campuses in our countries. This is a sort of opening direct access. Sometimes it may go through twinning program, partly in India and partly in India, like TAPMI in Mangalore, Karnataka. So they can give mixed degree, and this is the third way. And fourth way is sending our experts for short time jobs and training in other countries. This is a sort of technology transfer. So every mode is very, very potential of getting revenue for us. So the knowledge that we want, the institution that we want to work around, needs to be around these 4 modes, and we should earn revenue. Before discussing strategies of transforming higher education educations, it is necessary to discuss government initiatives and our other initiatives. These initiatives are, first initiative was taken in 1976 by amending the constitution and putting education in the concurrent list so that it will be the responsibility of center and state, and center is now taking appropriate action. The second initiative was a national policy on declaration of national policy on higher education, 1986, and then post of program of action in 1992. Everybody knows of this. National Knowledge Commission, NKC, was appointed under the chairmanship of Sam Putroda, we know, and its recommendations are very revolutionary. Then Yashpal Commission was appointed, committee was appointed in 2009 to aid and advise the Prime Minister on the educational agenda. And recently, with the change of the government, the new government has proposed to change the policy of the education and draft new policy. It was declared in 2015. Feedbacks were taken and Rangarajan committee was appointed to draft the national policy, new national policy, and accordingly, the Rangarajan committee has submitted its report in December 2018, and action and decision is yet pending on it. Friends, what are the strategies? Before going to strategy, we have to see where we stand now. What is the scenario? Because it is a sort of SWOT analysis. And therefore, we have to introspect ourselves where we are. And then we can see how we can proceed, what much speed we need. So the ranking and accreditation is very, very important strategy. Ranking and accreditation. These are the strategies for excelling in quality as well as assuring the quality in the higher education institutions. First of all, we will look up the ranking and accreditation. How it helps? It helps in promoting competition and quality. So competition and quality are inseparable, and therefore ranking and accreditation promotes competition. Teachers, students, other stakeholders get quality conscious and work around the quality parameters. If institution aspires ranking and accreditation, participate in ranking and acquire good grade in accreditation, then teacher and students, these are important stakeholders. They get very quality conscious. The accreditation and ranking helps in internal and external benchmarking. This is also very important, because if we want to develop change, we have to benchmark internally. That is where we are, what are our weaknesses, what are our strengths, and benchmarking externally means where other institutions, similar institutions are, where reference institutions are, and we are going to reach to that area. Then one more thing is there, governance and leadership. Get more participative, dynamic, perseverant in decision-making process. So friends, if we want to be vibrant institution, it is important the management and leadership. Management is a parent body. Leadership is a college level principal and his team. So they must be very dynamic. They must be very dynamic, participative in decision-making process, and more importantly, they must be sufficiently perseverant, tolerance, in their decision-making process so that their decisions can be wisely but tightly implemented in the institution, fetching the expected results. The ranking and accreditation helps in finding strengths and weaknesses of the institution useful for strategic planning such as PDCA, PDSA. This is corporate sector's strategy. Plan, do, then study, check, and take revised action and jump. So now this is the time of changing, not by piecemeal ways, but by jumping ways, because 20 years of 21st century have already been gone, and we have to be very fast. World is going very fast. We are still in the middle economy and not in the first developed economy. That is why the speed is important. Friends, the higher education institutions in India have responded in the accreditation. We know government under UGC has established a National Assessment and Accreditation Council at Bangalore in 1994, and there onwards, this is the measure of quality assurance and quality enhancement. And what is the scenario here? What is the scenario here? The scenario here is some quality institutions are voluntarily approaching for accreditation. According to 2017 statistics, 187 institutions scored 3.5 and above score. 1,458 institutions scored between 3 to 3.5. This is A and above, and this is very excellent grade. These institutions, further I will tell you, I have included into the elite institution or excellent institutions. The number of CGPS 3 and above accounted for 29%, whereas between 2 to 3 CGPS accounted for 65%, between 1.5 to 2 account for 6%. This is the scenario of our educational institutions on the quality parameters according to the NAAC. A considerable size of institution need focused attention as there is scope for their improvement. According to 2017 statistics, NAAC accreditation score statistics is 1,833 higher education institutions scored 2.5 to 3 grade, and that is B grade. And therefore, these is B and B plus. These institutions, though are lagging rather behind, still there is sufficient scope for their marching forward. But some institutions have shown very poor performance in NAAC accreditation, and special attention is required to them. As per the score statistics 2017, 1,923 institutions scored between 2 to 2.5, and 274 institutions scored 1.5 to 2. This is very poor picture, and these institutions needs to be what you call it, a sort of warning and operation. A large number of institutions are staying away from NAAC. This is one more dismal picture. Moreover, there are number of colleges which have less than 100 enrollments. More importantly, in many institutions, including technical institutions, engineering colleges, no enrollment is sufficient. There is a big gap between the enrollment and actual admission, actual capacity. Another strategy, first strategy is accreditation. Accreditation provides opportunity to introspect and to develop. It is a sort of quality exercise, and we can't run away from the quality exercise. The another robust quality exercise is participation in ranking. There are two types of ranking: international ranking and national ranking. So we should aspire, because if we aspire for this, we will prepare. If we don't aspire, we will not be prepared. Of course, I will say that you may aspire, you may participate, you may not get chance, but it is better doing something rather than not doing anything. That is why I propose that the institution who want to transform, who want to be quality institution, robust institution, they should take part in the ranking system. There are number of ranking systems. National NIRF is there. So this is the Government of India's initiative. National Institutional Ranking Framework it is called. And this is the Government of India's initiative. And it is from 1916, ranking different institutions on different parameters. They group the institutions in 10 categories. One is overall, one is another is university, colleges, medical colleges, engineering, law, management, architect, pharmacy, and dental. So this is the National Institutional Ranking Framework, and this ranks the Indian higher education institutes in top ranking category. NIRF criteria are teaching learning resources, research and professional practices, graduation outcome, outreach and inclusivity, and perception of stakeholders. So these are the criteria. Based on these criteria, the NIRF latest statistics is like this. In 2019, in the overall category, they selected top 100 institutions out of the 1,449. Overall category, it includes mix. In engineering category, 970 institutions have participated and 100 top have been ranked. Management institutions, out of 555, 75 have been top ranked. In pharmacy category, out of 301, 75 institutions have been ranked, top ranked. In architecture, out of 65, 15 have been ranked as top institutions. In colleges, the number is more. 1,304 colleges participated and 100 top ranking have been listed. Medical, 30 out of 113, and law, 15 out of 80. These top ranked institutions get a sort of brand name, prestige, and consequently, they get good students, talented students. So attracting talented student is very, very important for quality output. Therefore, the ranking is very important. Another institution is the ranking agency, of course, is Outlook. It also ranks the Indian institutions in on different criteria and ranks top institutions. In the same way, iCare is also one more institution that ranks the Indian higher education institutes on different parameters, and in its top list of 15 universities, 15 universities top reflected in the top universities, top quality universities, 75 public and state universities, 25 central universities, 15 institutions of national importance, and 15 top universities. So these were also given a sort of boost through ranking. Besides those, there are some Indian ranking agencies such as the Week, the Mint, India Today, DataQuest, and other number of institutions are also engaged in ranking. And naturally, there is a good deal of institutions approaching to these ranking agencies. Now, the further point is the response to international agencies. We have seen the national agencies. We have also number of international agencies ranking the institutions, and our institution, our higher education institutions are also voluntarily participating in them, and there is a good output also. So far as these institutions are concerned, it is Times Higher Education, then ANBT, then US News and World Report, QS, then FTL, Asia Newsweek, and ARW. So these are the institutions that are engaged in. According to Times Higher Education ranking, it is very, very prestigious. It is very, very prestigious, and number of institutions are coming forward and getting participate. The picture is also very good, that in 2020 ranking outcome includes top Indian higher education institutions out of among the top 1500, and 56 institutions have been ranked as top institutions in the 1400 rank. So we have been doing well in the, not perfectly well, but something well in the Times Higher Education ranking. The another is American News Broadcast Firm, ANBT. It is also important and prestigious ranking agency, and if any institution participates and gets in the rank, it gets international students. So international students are very important because they help good revenue as well as diversity. The another agency is US News and World Report Agency. In this is also very important, and our institutions have done very well. IISc Bangalore ranked 530th, IIT Bombay ranked 513, Delhi IIT ranked 654, Roorkee IIT ranked 747, Kharagpur IIT ranked 722, Madras IIT 654, Punjab University 530th rank. So this is very important. And this agency also ranks on regional level, Asia level, and even in Asia level, 8 higher education institutions have reflected in top 100. This is also good achievement. QS that is Quackerel Symbods, and it ranks the institutions, world over institutions. Indian institutions also take part in it. And naturally, in 2019, 25 higher education institutions were in its top ranking institutions. FTL, Financial Times London, is another international agency, and it ranks only business schools on 3 different categories, and will be very astonished to see that our 81 institutions have been included in its top ranking. This is also a great achievement. Asia Week is another agency that ranks the institutions, and our higher education institutions have also responded. 20 higher education institutions were included in its ranking, top ranking in 2018. ARWU, that is Academic Ranking of World Universities, Shanghai. This is Shanghai-based institute, and this also ranks the worldwide higher education institutions. And our achievement is also very brilliant in this regard. In 2019, our institutions, 16 institutions were included into the top 5. It means that this cluster of well-ranked and well-accredited, highly accredited, can be called, for convenience sake, the institutions already excelled. And these, because of such institution, there has been a good inflow of quality students, international students in our country. The scenario is like this. As a result of the reputation acquired by higher education institutions through ranking, as well as certified through ranking and accreditation, number of good students are getting attracted towards these institutions. The inflow was captured mainly by the institutions in Karnataka, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, UP, West Bengal, Karnataka, Gujarat, and Himachal Pradesh. Most importantly, of course, this was concentrated in some cities: Pune, Delhi, Mumbai, Manipur, Manipal in Karnataka, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, Kolkata, Dehradun. It is very important to note that Pune has highest international students, accounting 29.30% foreign students. It has been Pune city. And then we have Delhi, 20.48%, Mumbai, 12.78%. So this is a sort of achievement and inflow. Of course, there is outflow also, but inflow is from the Asian countries, African countries, and the inflow ratio from the developed countries is rather less. However, one precaution must be taken that when these countries will be developed, this inflow will come to an end, and therefore we have to decide a good strategy to attract the students from other institutions. So the scenario of flow from different countries has been shown: Asia, Africa in diminishing order, Europe, then North American countries, Eurasia, South American countries, then ocean countries, and Australia. So these are the countries from where students come in India, and Asia is dominating, of course, in it. So now we have seen where we are, what is the picture of Indian education system and Indian higher education institutions. So it is somewhat mixed picture, and therefore those institutions which have excelled can be categorized as elite institutions. Of course, not on the basis of normative phenomena, but academic purpose only. So this cluster can be put into the elite institution, and another cluster can be put into the other institutions, and then institution specific strategies must be suggested, as same size does not fit to all. Strategies for elite, as we have said, the elite institutions, which include the institutions that have IITs, IIMs, institutions of national importance, many other things, good ranked, good accredited, as we have seen. So these are the institutions, and these account for around 33% of the institution. So these institutions need different strategies. These can be described here: attracting the talented students worldwide and internally. The quality learners are prone to deliver good output and become the ambassadors of the institution. Consequently, the institution acquires brand name and gets strengthened. Different quality initiatives like professionalism, employability, committed faculty, effective pedagogies, and also are important for these institutions. Not least, but last but least, there are some more devices. Participation in ranking and accreditation is also worldwide pursued as the measure of quality, and therefore these institutions should excel ahead, and they are success story of People's College Nanded. The host institution of this conference is very, I think, noteworthy, because when the college was celebrating its golden jubilee, the college decided different strategies, and a development plan was made and executed, and naturally the college excelled on all fronts of quality. This is not the time to discuss about this institution, because we have to discuss on broader level, but just for the information. Now, the second category, the remaining category, that is other institution. These institutions are the private institution, mostly these are the institution imparting traditional degrees in BA, BCom, BSc, so on and so forth. So in this category, 83% institutions are private institutions granting traditional degree. 34% institutions are single faculty, single program institutions. 2.5% institutions run PhD courses. 80% of the institutions in this category run UG courses, and 34.8% run PG courses. So this is the scenario. So far as the admission is concerned, BA, BSc, BCom, admission is 50% ratio. And therefore, this area is in fact the area of the mass education area, I tell you. And these institutions needs different type of categories, strategies. Those have been discussed as under. So for these institutions, first of all, the strategies aspire and prepare for acquiring autonomous status. Because in affiliated system, institution cannot be developed. The another strategy or is transformation into multi-dimensionally, multidisciplinary institution. This is very important. Mixed institutions. I will conclude within 5 minutes. So transformation, the institution should be multidisciplinary. Now we have the institution based on specialization, but we should now include in arts college some courses from science, some courses from commerce, and some credits from other institutions. So this should be necessary. The third is attracting talent and maintain diversity of the students in their campus. Evolve strategies for participative decision-making process, as I told you earlier. Then academic discussion, expert lectures, stakeholders, feedback, and deep perceptions of the stakeholders must be taken. Learner-centric approach rather than teacher-centric approach should be taken. I tell here, cafeteria approach must be accepted, because eat and grab system is not proper. Therefore, we go to the cafeteria, order what we want, and eat very deliciously. That should be the approach, that students, learners should decide what to learn, how to learn, where to learn, and not teacher and management should decide. These institutions must plan they must define their vision, mission, goals, and make periodical modification in them. It will help them to, according to the theory of mirror and window, it will help them to introspect as well as change as per the outward world. They should develop modern infrastructure, particularly required for ICT, maker space, discussion space, digital libraries, different computer labs, sports, virtual learning centers, research laboratories. All these types of facilities were developed in People's College Nanded, and that is why People's College Nanded could excel in the elite institution. Friends, if this happens, the learning outcome will be definitely like this: deep knowledge, the student having deep knowledge, students having critical thinking ability, student having good language and communication skills, student having employability, students having capacity to solve problem, students having innovation, creative thinking, research mindset, respecting diversity and liberalism, global outlook, ethical reasoning, and social responsibility and strategic planning. All these type of learners will be developed, and therefore I suggest that this group of institution should phase out the implementation of the program, share with the team and knowledge workers and stakeholders the program that have phased out, remove the mediocrity and obstacles. This is very, very important. Mediocrity and obstacles. There are number of obstacles and mediocrity, and we can't go ahead with mediocrity and obstacles. Evolution of evaluation, outcome, and jumping forward. This is also most important. So I have just in brief discussed where we want to go, how we can go, and can we go. I think we can definitely go. My own experience, my institution's experience, my research, my study, my visiting the institutions of repute in India as well as abroad have given me the confidence, and out of that only I have suggested these strategies. I think these will done. I thank you very much for inviting me and associating me in this e-conference. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for highlighting the strategies that we need to follow in order to improve not just our rankings, benefit our students, and in general transform the higher education sector in India. And I would request my colleague, Dr. Amol Kale, to present the vote of thanks. Dr. Kale.
Hello. Hello.
I can hear you.
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
सर आवाज येतोय तुमचा बोला.
A very good morning to all. Very afternoon to all. It's give me a immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this e-conference second day, second session to dignitaries and participate here. I would like to thank our resource person, our former principal, well-known academician, Dr. V.N. Ingole sir, who honor this conference with his knowledgeable thoughts regarding 21st century knowledge society. Secondly, I would like to thank our Nanded Education Society's Honorable President, Dr. Venkatesh Kabde sir, and Honorable Secretaries Shamaltai Patki ma'am, and Vice President Chaitanya Bapu Deshmukh ji, our Joint Secretaries Praveen ji Patil sir, and our beloved Principal Dr. R.M. Jadhav sir, Vice Principal Dr. Pompalwar sir, Dr. Siddewad sir, and all my colleagues and all participants for making this conference as grand success. Once again, I thank you to all participants here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now would hand over to Dr. D.N. More for the next session. Dr. More, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. Hello. Hello.
Please, sir. More, sir. Hello.
Unmute the hello, Rahulji. Please,
Yes, sir,
unmute
yes,
Professor Keshav Bhattacharya, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Join us.
Okay. Good afternoon, sir. Very good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon. Yes.
Dear participants, this is the last session of two-day e-national conference on challenges and opportunities in higher education in India post-COVID-19. In the morning session, Professor Sukhdev Thorat sir, former chairman of University Grants Commission, has rightly talked about unequal access to quality higher education, and former principal of People's College, Nanded, Dr. V.N. Ingole sir, has given a clue so far as strategic management for quality enhancement is concerned in the second session. In this session, Professor Keshav Bhattacharya ji, who is connected with us from Calcutta, West Bengal, he is a well-known academician in higher education, completed his BE, ME, and PhD from illustrious institute in higher learning, that is Jadavpur University, Calcutta in West Bengal. He served as a teacher in electrical engineering in Jadavpur University since 1990. At present, he is working as a professor and the head department of electrical engineering of Jadavpur University. He is also the members of professional societies like IEEE, IEI, etc. He is also an acting president of AI FUCTO, All India Federation of College and University Teachers organization since 2015. He is also presently working as the president of West Bengal College and University Teachers Association. He is also acted as the president and general secretary of Jadavpur University Teachers Association. He served Jadavpur University as court and executive council member. He has a wide experience in higher learning, being associated with the organization at all India level. He came to know the real problems of teachers, principals, management, and all over the educational institutes. Without taking much more time between the participants and distinguished speaker, Professor Keshavji Bhattacharya sir, I request him to deliver a talk on the topic, challenges in higher education in the backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic. Honorable Professor Keshavji Bhattacharya.
Thank you, Professor More. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Respected principal, sir, Professor More, and all the distinguished dignitaries and viewers. Friends, my topic of discussion is challenges in higher education in the backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic. I shall restrict my discussion totally in the background of the challenges we are facing, totally to the extent of challenges we are facing in the higher education in particular after the outbreak of this COVID-19 pandemic. Now, friends, you all know, and we all know rather, that after due to this COVID-19 pandemic, the human civilization is facing a big question mark. In all respect, in all aspects of life, there is uncertainty and new challenges are developing. And since this is the scenario, education system as a whole in all over the world and also in India is no exception. we are also facing many challenges in higher education nowadays, and new challenges are coming up. The challenges can be broadly classified into three categories. The first one is challenges before the students. Second one is the challenges before the teachers. And finally, some general challenges which are faced by the society, and being social animal and the guardians. And since we are also sometimes playing the role of the guardians, we have to face those challenges. So I shall discuss in brief all these things one after another. To start with, if we look at the challenges before the students, first thing what I understand and we discussed in IFUCTO platform as a whole, it is the challenge or problem of livelihood. You see, due to this COVID-19 pandemic, the way of living or the problem of livelihood has increased a lot. In many cases, the per capita income or family income has reduced. As a result, it is very difficult to meet up the necessities of our daily life. And in that case, education is taking a back seat, and obviously the priority is getting less. Next one, the problem which the students are facing is the academic calendar. It is every day it is getting delayed and rescheduled. They do not know when the examinations will take place and how the rest of the syllabus and will be covered. So this is another challenge and problem the students are facing. You see, we all know that due to this COVID-19 pandemic, global recession is likely to occur. Its effect is obvious in India also. As a result, the students, they are in front of an uncertain and insecure future that they are going to face. Again, you see, students, there are different types of students. There are some students who like to join higher education after completing their graduation and post-graduation, etc. Now, obviously, due to recession or financial crisis, the number of scholarships in higher education is going to decrease. And that is going to be a direct effect that the good students are going to face. And this is the challenge they have to face. The competition for getting a scholarship will be much more stringent. And also, due to financial crisis and recession, research grants are likely to decrease, obviously. Even if the projects are being sanctioned, funding is not available. In near future, the chance of getting the funding will be very remote. So this is another problem which the teachers will face, and the students and the scholars will also definitely face. Not only this, in some professional institutions teaching technology or management, students are offered jobs when they study in their final year classes. Now, by this time, many such students, though they were offered jobs from different companies, their offers have been withdrawn. That is another painful thing which our students are going to face. So these are the major challenges which immediately the students have to face. Now, before the teachers, what are the major challenges? As we see, the whole routine, the entire planning of teaching, learning, and research is almost jeopardized. It is almost disturbed. It is destroyed. You see, the labs are closed for long period over 3 months in many institutions. And since laboratories are closed, lab-based research are heavily hampered. In many institutions, libraries are not opening. So in barring few institutions where scope of digital learning is available, digital library is there, other than in other institutions, other than those institutions, actually neither the students nor the teachers, they can do the library work as well. So this is another problem which the teachers are facing. Unprecedented uncertainty about the academic calendar, syllabus, etc. Without any, another thing, when the lockdown was announced, what really happened, everybody or in almost in every institution, there was an attempt to go for online mode of education. Now again, that is without any preparation. For the senior teachers like me, there is a problem of mindset about the online mode of teaching. I must clearly share with you, openly share with you. Actually, without any preparation, the slides are not ready. Some of the senior teachers or some of the teachers are not very friendly with online mode of teaching, and that using these packages, Zoom, Google Meet, etc., etc. And for science and technology, where you need deductions and board works very frequently, it is more difficult. So without any prior preparation or without any, what should I say, any mental makeup, we had to switch over from conventional mode of teaching to online mode of teaching. Now, so these are the things the teachers are also finding. Other problems are also there in online mode of teaching. I shall come to that at the end. Another thing I tell you, since I speak here as president of IFUCTO, I must mention some problems which relate to our professional issues. Now, friends, due to this lockdown period, all over the country, the transport system is almost paralyzed and it is not functioning, working normally. As a result, the movements are very much restricted. Very less number of persons are coming to attend in different offices. As a result, neither can we reach the offices, even if we can reach, our many professional issues remain unsolved due to the non-availability of the competent person in the office. So this is another thing which we are facing in the field of our higher education related to professional issues and other academic issues due to this COVID-19 pandemic. Now, again, some general challenges I want to mention here. That is, students actually in different institutions, students come from different social strata and from different economic background. It is very difficult for large number of guardians to provide their sons and their daughters with appropriate or proper gadgets for attending online classes. Now, earning bread and arranging square meal a day is their top priority. In many cases for the guardians, it is the top priority. And as a result, during this hardest time, education is not getting the proper priority in many families. I was listening to the speech of Professor Ignace, what he was telling about the institution, the esteemed institution, that is People's College Nanded. And he was talking about the facilities that have been developed. So yes, it is really satisfying to know. I did not have the opportunity to visit that college, but listening his speech, I came to know about the resources that the college had. But friend, this is this is not really the scenario of majority of the colleges in India. And he was talking about the elite institutions. Fine, elite institutions are there, but majority of the institutions, colleges and universities, they suffer from lack of infrastructure. Now, what I was talking about, the challenges before the guardians, another thing is this: during this lockdown period, very large number of job losses have been reported. Now, obviously, the guardians who have been retrenched will not be able to continue the education of their sons or daughters. As a result, due to this COVID-19 pandemic, I doubt and I am afraid that the dropout in higher education in different levels will increase. Now, friend, what is the solution? These are the problems that we all know. Now, what is the solution? Now, before going to discuss the solutions, we should discuss some steps that have been taken so far by UGC. Now, in the month of April, at the end of April, most probably 29th of April, one guideline from UGC committee was published. Now, in that guideline, academic calendar, they proposed some academic calendar, and at present, as on today, it is obviously it is being understood that the proposed academic calendar by UGC are going to be changed for sure. In actually, every day at present, every day number of COVID-19 patients are increasing in the country. In such a situation, it is not possible to open institutions and hold regular classes, etc. So we are not sure when the classes will be resumed. It has been in West Bengal, the classes have been suspended at all levels, starting from nursery to PG up to 31st July. I do not know whether at all after 31st July, from 1st August onward, the classes can be resumed. Everything will depend upon the breaking out or the spreading of COVID-19 pandemic or coronavirus cases. So it is quite obvious, or it is for sure we can say that another rescheduling of the proposed academic calendar is required, and most probably it will be done. Another thing, that in many states, as I know, the number of students in a class is quite large, and it is not possible to maintain a physical distance while conducting the classes. Here, friends, I categorically or consciously use the word physical distance, not social distance. In my opinion, social distance is something different. It means something different. Maybe it may, social distance may be more mental in nature, like the distance between Brahmins and Shudras, etc., etc. But I believe it is the physical distance which is necessary to combat the COVID-19 infection. Anyway, that is a separate thing. Again, the examinations. Coming back to the point of examination, UGC committee in its recommendation also suggested some guidelines for holding examinations of the students studying in different classes or different standards. Now, the thing is this, very recently from different media, newspaper and electronic media, it is being learned that UGC committee is going to suggest scrapping of the final semester examinations. Now, this is not a very welcome suggestion, I must clearly say. But at the same time, I must admit, most probably there is no other practical alternative to this. because situation is almost out of hand. In this situation, we cannot ask our students, our colleagues to come join in the examination process, that is in the physical mode of contact mode of examination process, and endanger their lives. It is not possible. But two things must be mentioned here, that again, another thing should be mentioned here, that we cannot postpone the examinations for indefinite period. Actually, within a definite time period, we must publish the results in whatever way. Otherwise, there are two dangers, or there will be two types of problems may crop up. There are some good students who have already planned to go abroad and join higher studies. There they have a definite academic calendar. Prior to that, if the results are not published, exams are not conducted in whatever way, they will not be able to join their courses abroad and they will miss the bus. And at the same time, in some companies, they may not offer the job what they have already offered to the students if they are not able to finish their courses in time. So I do not know what will happen and when this recommendation is likely to come. But anything, one more thing must be mentioned here, that if the examination is final year semester examinations are scrapped, it should be implemented uniformly all over the country. Otherwise, the states where the examinations will be scrapped, the students from those states may find difficulty and they may feel isolated in future life. So far as I know, before any announcement by UGC, two states in where the final semester examinations have already been postponed. One is Odisha and most probably the other one is Maharashtra, as far as I know. Another thing I should say here in connection with this COVID-19 pandemic and challenges before higher education, that is, during the lockdown period, 15-20 days back, the new education policy has been finalized and placed before the Parliament for discussion. Now, this new education policy, Honorable Finance Minister, in one of our public speech some days back, talked about implementing this new education policy. Now, about this new education policy, the stand of IFUCTO is quite clear, and IFUCTO described the new education policy as it will increase commercialization, corporatization, communalization, and centralization in higher education in particular. So, when this new education policy is going to be implemented, if you look at the new education policy, many a times reference has been made to online education system. Very recently, our Honorable Prime Minister spoke about self-reliance of the country, and in that connection, he mentioned about online education. Here, I must clearly say that IFUCTO is not against online education, but at the same time, IFUCTO never thinks that online education can be an alternative to the conventional mode of teaching and learning. At the most, on the online education system can be complementary to the conventional mode of teaching and learning, because the personal relationship that develops between the teacher and the taught during conventional mode of teaching and learning never developed through online mode of teaching and learning. Now, UGC committee in its recommendation in April said that in future, all or each educational institution must develop their infrastructure in such a way that 25% of the course curriculum is covered in online mode. Here we must mention that though we are not against online mode of teaching and learning, but we are against mechanically imposing the online mode of teaching and learning. It is the teacher in particular who will decide how much of the course content he will cover in conventional mode and how much he will use, covered by online mode of teaching and learning. Another thing I tell you that these are the challenges we have to face. That one more thing I must say at the end, that is, AIFUCTO has always demanded strengthening of public funded education and has always spoken in favor of inclusive education. During this lockdown period when many discussions were going on about the online mode of teaching, learning, etc., some surveys have come out. And from those surveys, it is learned that only 30% at the most, 30% of the students, they can access online mode of teaching and learning. Majority of the students, 30% of the students in our country, they do not have any internet connectivity at their home, not even any smartphone they have. So, if this is the situation, without creating proper infrastructure, without creating a system where every student can, or majority of the students can access the online facility, if we impose or if we enforce online system of teaching and learning, that is definitely going to create a digital divide amongst the students. And that we cannot accept. We cannot accept. I tell you, it's very I share with you my experience about a very tragic incident that occurred in West Bengal, that happened in West Bengal 2 days back. A student studying in class 10, his father was a daily wage earner, coming from a very economically weak section. That student did not have any smartphone with, and he could not attend the online classes which his teachers were conducting. Finally, the student became so frustrated, he committed suicide. This is the scenario. Large number of students are there coming up from weaker financial sections, cross sections of the society. For them, they will not be able to access the online mode of teaching and learning. They will be excluded from good quality of teaching and learning. So we strongly demand that state must develop or take the responsibility of developing such a system which is affordable and accessible to all the students, or at least large majority of the students, and only then they must try to enforce online system of education. Otherwise, everything will be at a loss. With these few words, I conclude. I extend my thanks to the organizers for giving me an opportunity to speak. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for your scholarly lecture on the occasion of 17th Foundation Day of our institution. And you have really highlighted the basic challenges before education in general and higher education in particular. Thanks a lot on behalf of the management as well as the teaching and non-teaching staff of People's College, Nanded, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Dear participants, we will move to the last program of this two-day e-national conference, that is the valedictory program. And on the occasion of this 17th Foundation Day of Nanded Education Society's People's College, Nanded, we organized two-day e-national conference on the issue of challenges and opportunities in higher education in India. And on the occasion of this valedictory function, we have with us Honorable Joint Secretary of Nanded Education Society, Nanded, CA Dr. Praveen Patil, sir. We have with us chief guest for this valedictory of this two-day e-national conference, Joint Director, Higher Education, Nanded Region, Nanded, Honorable Mrs. Dr. Nalini Tembekar, ma'am. We have with us our Honorable Principal Dr. R.M. Jadhav, sir. We have with us Vice Principal Dr. B.D. Kumpalwar, sir, and Vice Principal Dr. A.N. Siddewar, sir. All members of teaching and non-teaching staff of People's College, Nanded, and dear participants. I am very happy to convey a message that we have organized two-day e-national conference on a very important issue that Indian higher education is facing in post-COVID-19 pandemic situation. In view of this COVID-19, as education in general and higher education in particular is facing serious challenges, and these challenges have been discussed in detail right from the first session that has been undertaken by Professor Ved Prakash sir, former chairman of University Grants Commission. Honorable Sudhir Gawane sir has also highlighted some of the important issues in higher education in his scholarly talk. Professor Vijay Pandri Pandey sir, former Vice Chancellor of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Aurangabad, and Adjunct Professor of Usmania University, Hyderabad, has also highlighted the burning issues that Indian higher education is facing. Today, Honorable Professor Sukhdev Thorat sir, former chairman of University. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please talk.
Professor Sukhdev Thorat sir, former chairman UGC and ICSSR New Delhi, has highlighted a very important issue in higher education, that is issues of unequal access to quality higher education. In the second session, former Principal of People's College, Nanded, respected Dr. V.N. Ingole, sir, has discussed in detail the issue of the strategies for transforming higher educational institutes in India post-COVID-19 by giving a data. And recently, AIFTO President, Professor Dr. Bhattacharya, has highlighted the problems that Indian education system is facing in view of COVID-19 pandemic situation. All put together, the deliberations and discussions that took place in two-day e-national conference is very fruitful. These points are very important in order to framing the policy at government level. Hence, I congratulate and I am very much thankful to all resource persons for their scholarly deliberations on the occasion of this two-day e-conference. Dear participants, Honorable Dr. Tembekar ma'am, who is the Joint Director of Nanded Region, Nanded, is with us. I will not take much more time between you and Honorable ma'am and request her to put her remarks regarding the issue of higher education that we are facing today on the occasion of this valedictory of two-day e-national conference. Over to Dr. Nalini Tembekar, ma'am.
Thanks, sir. I am audible, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good afternoon to one and all in this August gathering. It is indeed a pleasure to be addressing eminent scholars, thought-investing thinkers. In fact, on the auspicious occasion of the 17th Foundation Day of Nanded Education Society, Nanded's People College, in association with Swami Ramananda Tirtha Marathwada University, Nanded, has organized two-day e-national program for which I commend the organizing team. I am privileged to address on valedictory at this important theme of 2 days e-national conference, challenges and opportunities in higher education in India post-COVID-19. The event reflects the desire of academicians, intellectuals, and social activists to sensitize the issue of mode of education in global pandemic situation, to get prepared to meet threats and challenges which this generation of youth is going to face in future due to devastation in every sector globally. Since yesterday, panic situation of academic sector in viral spread has been highlighted with remedial and adopting suggestions. We need to think about adoptions and mitigations to the pandemic in every aspect. How can education be kept aside? On 11th March, WHO assessed that Corona is pandemic. Since then, our government is taking appropriate steps to combat Corona. All exams were halted, afterwards cancelled. During lockdown, students were extended help to return home from universities. Faculties were asked to work from home by online teaching. It encourages that universities and college faculties completed their curriculum, took online tests and quiz, accepted assignments, allotted internal marks, and so on. In the month of April, United Nations reported that 166 countries closed schools and universities to combat corona spread. 1.5 billion children and young people are affected, which reflects 87% of enrolled students. This pandemic has caused stress on developing countries' aim of quality education. The challenges are finance for education, technology, and teachers' contribution. In India, urban as well as rural economy has got affected. More than 70% unorganized sector workers have lost their earning sources and unable to invest money on education for their children. His students prone educational policy for all students of India is today's need. Organization must come forward to cater the interest of poor students so that they must not be deprived from their educational rights. They must not fee structure and educational loans need to be monitored to overcome panic situation created in economic front. Secondly, I think it is our duty to look into risks created by technology in between affordable and non-affordable students. When I hear the news of suicide by teenage girl for not able to attend online classes, I feared about students across India facing same situation. Rural and tribal students not having Android mobile phones, internet connectivity and affordability must be supported. Thirdly, teachers' concern is no less important. The pandemic has forced the academicians to explore new way of teaching and learning, including distance and online education. This proven challenging for both students and teachers. Online education platforms as Zoom, WebEx, Google Classroom are playing vital role in completing the syllabus. However, lecturers are still struggling to maintain the same of engagements with students they could have in a classroom setting. I came across the news that American university students have refused for online classes by claiming that they have paid fees for campus experience and face-to-face interaction with professors. Obviously, this news put light on the importance of a teacher in society. In these days, most important role teachers need to play towards psychological status of the passing students searching job in recession which may last indefinitely. In the other way, post COVID-19 is an opportunity to transform higher education system, fundamental structures. Changes should be made in the curriculum syllabi. Skill development should be part of the curriculum of degree programs. This will create future entrepreneurs. It will beat it will beat unemployment and increase business skill amongst the youth. Faculty need to change their traditional teaching methods and adopt to evolving technology center teaching. The faculty should establish themselves as competent individuals who can deliver what the students expect. Indian higher education should be redesigned. It should be flexible, more innovative, more collaborative, as well as more locally connected and socially responsible. In order to change the direction of higher education, emphasis should be placed on curriculum design, collaborations, skill development, and faculty involvement. Let us hope that our country will continue to on path of equality in education sector, that is quality education for all. Corona pandemic will teach us some concrete lessons for future development. I congratulate once again esteemed speakers, delegates, technicians for making this event successful and express thanks towards organizer for inviting me for expressions. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. Now we have with us Honorable Chaitanya Bapu Deshmukh, sir, Vice President of Nanded Education Society in Nanded. He is connected with us virtually. I request him to speak a few words on the occasion of this valedictory function of two-day e-national conference on challenges and opportunities in higher education in India post-COVID-19. Honorable Chaitanya Bapu Deshmukh Sahib. Hello. 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 Hello.
हॅलो सर. सर
हॅलो.
सरांचा म्यूट आहे. म्यूट आहे.
त्यांना अनम्यूट करावं लागेल.
नाही,
अनम्यूट करावं लागेल.
त्यांच्याच मोबाईल करावं लागेल.
तिथून करावं लागेल अनम्यूट ना. ओके ओके. Okay, I request Honorable Chaitanya Bapu Deshmukh to put few words on the occasion of this valedictory function.
Hello. Hey, hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. Rahul.
टेक्निकल अडचण आहे ते सरांची टेक्निकल अडचण आहे बहुतेक. सर पुढचं हे करा.
Okay, okay, okay. Due to technical problems, Honorable Vice President of our illustrious Educational Institute is unable to connect with us. Now, I request the Joint Secretary of our Educational Institute, Nanded Education Society, Nanded, Honorable CA Dr. Praveen Patil, sir, to put his words on the occasion of this valedictory function of two-day e-national conference. Dr. Praveen Patil, sir.
Good afternoon to all participants all over the India. I first of all congratulate People's College Nanded for conducting such an important webinar, which is the need of the day at present. I was listening the lectures right from Professor Sukhdevji Thorat sir, and I'm very impressed by the speakers, the way they are putting their thoughts to the participants. First of all, I would like to say few words about Sukhdevji Thorat sir. He has definitely given some light on the indicators of quality education, especially in case of language and admission to the self-financing institutions. He has given the analytical data for us to study and compare, which shows that in Maharashtra, higher education is at the rate of 30%, which is higher than the national rate. So first of all, I congratulate all the Maharashtrians for getting higher rate of education in the India. He has said that there is a connection with the higher education, in respect of higher education, with the income group. And yes, I do agree with that, because if you have to get the education in a renowned institutions like IIM and IITs, you need more and more funds. And the poor fellow cannot join such an elite organizations. So this disparity of a quality education, to get the quality education, still prevails in India, and it will prevail in India. The main problem is our population. I think we are comparing our education system with the foreign education system like Canada and all that, but their population is not the hindrance. Here population is the hindrance, and therefore it is very difficult to implement the system. And therefore this disparity definitely will prevail. This is my humble opinion. He has also highlighted the unequal access to higher education by the poor people and the SC/ST students. Yes, this is also there. For this, we have to develop private institutions. Private institutions works on socio-commercial view. They are not commercial only. Take the example of our Nanded Education Society. We think of the poor and poorest student, and we try to upgrade such student, but we always come across the financial stringencies to implement the particular ideas. And therefore, there is a need that government shall support such institutions, specifically those who think of the poor students. Government is accrediting the colleges on their fixed format, but they are not looking to this particular aspect, that we don't have the infrastructure due to the lack of funds, and still we are thinking of the poor students. If you get the data of our institution, we have more and more poor students, more and more SC students, more and more ST students compared to other colleges. So their difficulties are there. I was talking to the junior college teacher who looks after MCVC program. He said that he tried to conduct online classes during this epidemic situation. But as Bhattacharya ji said, few of the students were not having smartphone. So how to reach to them? That was the problem. And this is true that poor students don't have the smartphone. We see around us and we think that everybody has the smartphone, but that is not the fact. Whether it be a Nanded, whether it will be a Calcutta, we are facing the same problem, which is explained by Sri Bhattacharya ji sir. So technology tools are not available at large, not easily available. Even we don't have the projector in each and every classroom. How can we teach digitally? That is the problem. So as far as Professor Sukhdev Thorat sir's comments, I think he actually suggested that English language we cannot avoid, but the good material available in the English can be translated into Marathi, and that can be provided to the students. Yes, this must be done. And I would like to share that Microsoft has recently formed the studio, which is called Artificial Intelligence Studio. You speak in whatever language, it will translate automatically within few minutes, few seconds to that particular language. So this technology is going to come. Canada is the hub for this, and definitely most of the students will be benefited by listening in their language of choice. So that hurdle will be removed soon due to the technological changes, and definitely he has segregated, he has actually defined the institutions in 3 types: government institutions, private institution, and self-financing institutions. Definitely government institutions are not doing well except in Delhi. Delhi, not in higher education, but in the education system, we are seeing that Delhi government has done a very good job. People are taking their kids from the private institution to the government institution. This is very good sign. We have to study that. Actually, our vice principal and we had decided to go to Delhi for just to know how they are implementing such type of things, that people are starting transferring from the private to the government institution, but it is postponed due to the COVID factor. Okay, we will go for that in the next situation when it will be normalized. So very important is that we shall give, particularly he has mentioned about the financing. So educational loans are there, but educational loans are basically available to the engineering, medical, IIM students, not for the other students. The amount is not that much good for getting the loan for other faculties, and government shall think upon this. It shall make the educational loans available to the needy students. Of course, the students must be meritorious students, that is required, because what we have seen in India, we get the loan from the government for not repaying the loan. That is the tendency of Indian people, which we have seen, and therefore NPA is major in India in such things. So there shall be some control, check for such type of loans. I hope such loan will be available. Now coming to our ex-principal, Dr. Ingole, he explained about the Mission 21st Century Knowledge Strategies for transforming higher educational institutes. Definitely, he has given some data also, which is provided by National Institute ranking framework. If we look to the data, specifically engineering, management, pharmacy, architects, colleges has been ranked, medical college. But what about the other colleges, general colleges? The rank is there, no doubt, for the general colleges, but general colleges are not up to the mark as per their particular ranking methods. So I think we shall not run behind the rank. We shall run behind the student. We shall see that our student, poor to poorest student, shall be upgraded and made him compatible in today's world. So though we could not get the accreditation of higher accreditation, our aim is not to get higher accreditation. Our aim is to teach the student with whatever sources available with us. Few of the institutions have infrastructural facility, but it is there. It is not being used to the fullest capacity. We don't have the infrastructure facility, but if we have the intention to teach the student, we can teach the student even in an open space. It was being done earlier, so why not now? So to develop the infrastructure and all that things, to talk about that, it is very easy, but to do it at the management level, it is difficult, because we have to come across the financial stringencies all the time. So he has very well explained that there shall not be resistance to change. We have to accept the change. Yes, we must accept the change and accept the change in complete transformation, fix the goal, and then go ahead to achieve the goal. Yes, this is required. He has talked about the student exchange program. Yes, it is being done in an institute like IIM and other IITs and all that. There is a student exchange program, but my daughter was in IIM, and when she asked me about the student exchange program, the cost was 5 lakh rupees. So I said, no, you shall not go to foreign country. No need of going to foreign country because of that amount. So student exchange is not easy. It is costly affair. And for your example, right now, how the problems may come, some Rotary Club runs the youth exchange program. Some of the youths are still in America, USA. They are not able to come back to India. So such type of problems may arise, and student exchange, I think rather than physically exchanging the students, we can have online interaction with the students of the other country. That can we can do, and I think that shall be done because institute like us cannot afford to send the students for the exchange. And yes, we can have interaction with the foreign students online, and definitely those who are interested students of our institute can interchange their views, their thoughts with the foreign students and upgrade. So there is really no need to go physically over there. And in today's scenario, it is not at all possible to go physically and exchange the students. So coming to the third speaker, actually I'm impressed by third speaker. Challenges in higher education in backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Keshav Bhattacharya. He actually spoke about the ground realities. Everybody is talking about the online education and online education and online education. But what is the fact? He rightly said that conventional mode of teaching is always better than the online mode of teaching. Yes, as far as the student is concerned. For teachers, yes, it is good for their training. Online mode is good for their training. They need not leave their college. They need not leave their city for getting the expert opinions, and it shall be continued as far as the teachers is concerned. But as far as the students is concerned, interaction is not possible in online teaching. We are not able to see the students. We are not able to read the face of the student, whether they are getting what I am explaining. So this is the problem with online teaching. Unless and until we look at the face of the student, we cannot understand whether I shall repeat what I have said, whether students have understood. And therefore, conventional mode is very important mode, and it will never be, you can say, it will be always be continued. Nobody can stop the conventional mode of teaching. As a teacher, I remember that when I teach in the law college, I found that sometimes because of the response of the student, I say something which I have never thought. And I'm happy that how I could have explained this, which I have never thought that I will explain in this manner. But because of students' response, I get energetic and I explain in better way. So this is not possible in online teaching. And eye-to-eye contact is not possible. Face-to-face reactions are not possible. So this is the big drawback of online teaching. And as Bhattacharya Sirji explained, that new educational policy, 25% of the syllabus is to be covered online and 75% will be from the conventional mode. So these parameters has been set by the government. Of course, government might have considered this important. So again, there will be a problem which 25% portion is to be explained online, which 75% portion is to be covered in conventional mode. We will leave it to the teachers that they will do better in this if government implements this particular. I am shocked with the example Sri Bhattacharya Sirji quoted here, that poor student for the want of smartphone committed a suicide. I'm very, very sorry. If this is India, then how can we expect online to be implemented so fast just because of COVID? We are talking about COVID, but once COVID situation goes away, people will come back to the normal life and they will not accept the online. Today they are accepting because they are in house. They cannot go outside. Therefore, they are accepting. But not all the students. We have to think about the poor students. Unless and until we think about the poor student, we cannot survive. Recently, my daughter was telling me that their college, I am Indore, had a job placement. But the students, those who are selected for the job, they are not contacted by the companies. Those companies have selected them. So their future is in dark. They are having very good salary pay, but still they are not sure whether company they kept them on hold. You are on hold till January and like that. They are not sure that they will get the job. So this is the situation because of COVID. And other important thing is what Bhattacharya ji said is affordable and accessible to all students. The system shall be affordable. Educational system shall be affordable and accessible to all students. We cannot think about the particular chunk of the students. We shall think about all the students, whether poor, rich. There is absolutely no problem. They can afford, they can access. But what about the poor students? Poor students are not able to access, are not able to afford, and therefore we have to think about them. We have to plan our educational system in such a way that poor will not be deprived of the right of education. That is very important. He shall not be deprived of the right of education. If we insist on 100% online education, we are depriving of the right of education from the poor students, and this is not good for any government, whatever may be the government. I am not going into the politics, but we shall be understanding the ground level realities, and I think Dr. Keshav Bhattacharya has thrown the light on the ground realities, and he is very correct that conventional mode must be applied. Okay, for the time being, it is not possible, but of course, we have to apply the conventional mode. We have to interact with the students. All are the teachers. I'm sure that you might, in your lifetime, you might have come across the students, those were not doing well, and because of your advice, their students have progressed in their life and achieved the goal. So this is not possible with the online. This is eye to eye, person to person, face to face. Teaching will make them able to stand in the today's competitive world. So mixed system is to be used now, henceforth. Surely we can divide some internal education system which can be conducted on the online teaching. And of course, I am a chartered accountant. We are having so many webinars every day, and it is compulsory for us. So it is called as continuing professional education. What people are doing, they are keeping their, they are logging to join, and just they are getting off and doing their work, and in between they are again coming. So they are just deceiving the institute actually. Such type of things may happen in online webinars, which may be made compulsory in future. The teachers will be logging in and just doing their work at home or somewhere, and chatting presence in, I say, not actually.
ते एडिटवर येणार आहेत ब्रिजवर माहिती आहे का म्हणजे ते आले तिथं नांदेडला.
Okay.
Hello.
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 Hello. Am I audible? Hello.
Sir, you are audible now.
Okay.
Yeah, sir. Yeah, you are audible, sir.
Okay. So
proceed, sir.
all the speakers have expressed their opinion on the given subject, and I am very impressed with the arrangement of this type of seminar at the national level, and I wish that in future also People's College will conduct such seminars, whether pandemic situation prevails or not. This will be our regular activity. We will be inviting such a stalwarts from, I could listen the Delhi stalwarts, the Calcutta stalwarts. This is because of online only. Yes, there are some advantages of online, and I think teachers will get more advantage than the students in the online process, and teachers has to upgrade themselves first. They shall upgrade them first, then we can pass it on to the students. So friends, with these words, I congratulate all of you for joining such a marvelous webinar. I again congratulate on the occasion of 70th anniversary of our educational institution, the old institution with the definitely ideal principles. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to chair this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable presence as the chairperson of this valedictory function. Now I request Honorable Vice President of Nanded Education Society, Nanded, Honorable Dr. Chaitanya Bapu Deshmukh, who is unable to connect with us due to technical problems, but now he joined with us. I request him to share a few words regarding higher education on the occasion of this valedictory. Honorable Bapu Sahib Deshmukh Sahib. राहुल अनम्यूट करा त्यांना. राहुल
सर त्यांना रिक्वेस्ट केली अनम्यूटची.
बोला सर, आवाज येतोय तुमचा आता.
येतोय का आवाज?
आवाज येतोय सर. बोला सर. बोला सर.
पीपल्स विद्यालय की ओर से राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर एक परिषद आयोजन किया है.
थोडंसं त्यांच्याशी बोलून बघा. शाळेच्या संदर्भात आपल्याला थोडंसं.
हा सर बोला. सर बोला.
परत अनम्यूट झालेत. परत अनम्यूट झालेत राहुल.
हॅलो.
हा बोला सर, आवाज येतोय तुमचा आता.
यायलाय का?
हो
येतो. हो आवाज येतोय सर. बोला सर.
एक
आणखी म्यूट झालेत राहुल. हॅलो. हा बोला सर आता. सर बोला, आवाज येतोय सर आता. हॅलो.
हा बापू साहेब बोला.
हॅलो.
हॅलो.
हा सर ते कनेक्ट नाहीत सर. सर टेक्निकल अडचण आहे त्यांची, कनेक्ट नाहीत ते.
Okay, okay. Due to technical problem, he is unable to speak. Dear participants, now I request our Vice Principal, Dr. A.N. Siddewar sir, to propose a vote of thanks on the occasion of this valedictory and especially for 2 days e-national conference on challenges and opportunities in higher education in India post-COVID-19. Dr. A.N. Siddewar sir. आवाज येत नाही.
हा सर
गेलाय म्हणून
चेक करतो. सिद्धेवाड सर बोला. सिद्धेवाड सर बोला.
First of all, good afternoon, everybody. In this valedictory session, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of my institution, Nanded Education Society, People's College, Nanded. I want to express our gratitude to Honorable Chairperson, well-known CA, and our society's Vice Secretary, Dr. Praveen Patil sir, who has spared precise time for us and delivered valuable thoughts. I extend our sincere thanks to Mrs. Dr. Nalini Tembekar, Joint Director, Higher Education of this region and Chief Guest of this valedictory function. Thanks, ma'am, for giving a valuable time and delivered talk. Our special thanks for Dr. Chaitanya Bapu, Mr. Chaitanya Bapu Deshmukh, who joined this session. I would like to thanks to all speakers, participants, management members, president, secretary, and all management members. Finally, thanks goes to our principal, Dr. R.M. Jadhav sir, Dr. Balaji Kompalwar, convener of conference, Dr. Jan More, co-convener A.C. Thorat, Dr. B.S. Chirde, all coordination committee members, Dr. Mirza, Dr. Sukale, Dr. Vadwade, Dr. Sachin Pawar, Dr. A.P. Kale, Dr. Vishal Patange, and Mr. S.N. Gayekwad, Dr. Abhay Datar, and all staff members, non-teaching members, especially Mr. Rahul Gaware, Dr. Pandhari Gaddapwar, and Ganesh Khaprade. As per the direction of principal, I declare here this conference is over. Thank you for all. Thank you very much. Now you can leave this session.
करू एंड करू. एंड